Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a spooky October. This is Dre with Dual Bros, and today I will be bringing you a Dark Magician deck profile. Be sure to like and subscribe at the video's end. Be sure to stay and make sure to check out our very special Halloween themed duel. I hope you like it. We spend a bunch of time on it. If you don't like it, well, you're just not, cool like us. But anyway, getting into this deck profile. Starting with the monsters. Basic staple for this deck. Magician's Souls, 3 copies. Running at 3 if you can. If you can't, I'm sure you can find other substitutions for it. It is still a pretty expensive card. 2 Effect Veilers. Obviously you need the Hand Trap Effect Veiler if you want to stop any decks from getting off too far into their turn where you can't do absolutely nothing because you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't want your opponent to stop you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, running 1 Ash Blossom. Everybody knows what Ash Blossom does. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock. 3 copies of Magician's Rod. Staples in this deck. Searches your spells and traps. 2 copies of Artifact Lancia. This card is very nifty. It's basically another hand trap in your hand. If you discard it to the graveyard for the rest of this turn, neither player can banish, which is very good. There are a lot of banish decks out there, and when they get those banishers off, you can't really do much to stop it because you can't stop from the graveyard. But if you stop them from banishing altogether, you're in good shape. Running 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Basically, basic fodder. Get her to the field. You can go for your rank 6. Or you could just use her to get Dark Magician from your deck to make alternate plays. Running 1 Dark Magician Girl. Pretty good staple for this deck. Useful, especially with the Dark Magician support that's come out. Running 3 copies of Dark Magician. I find 3 is extremely relevant for this deck. It's extremely useful as well. With the 3 apprentices I have, there's no chance for a immediate brick because you could always discard Dark Magician to special summon her. Running 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos. This is my favorite ritual. This has become one of my favorite rituals. It's almost as strong as my rod. Almost. It can get cards that are useless out of my hand and put it back into the deck, and it can search not only spells and traps but monsters too that mention Dark Magician in its text. And to round out the monsters, I am playing 1 copy of Timaeus the United Dragon. This is our substitution Dark Magician fans for Red Eyes Black Dragon. Red Eyes Black Dragon can be a huge brick index. Let me tell you now, get those Red Eyes Black Dragons out of there. Run Timaeus the United Dragon. You'll have a better chance of making sure you keep your deck consistent and you don't have to stop after you summon Dragoon. You can just keep going if you have the chance to. Alright, that's it for the monsters. Going on to the spells and traps. We're doing 2 copies of Dark Magic Circle. 3 copies is too many. You could potentially end up drawing into Dark Magic Circle with your Dark Magic Circle. That is what you do not want to do. So 2 copies is good enough. 3 copies of Soul Servant. This is your combo piece with your circle because you can always stack whatever you need to the top of your deck and then draw the 3 and get whatever card you need. Also, if you have a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl on the field or in the graveyard, that's an automatic draw. 1 if you have one of them, draw 2 if you have both. It's extremely useful. 1 pre-prep. The 1 pre-prep is mainly for the Illusion of Chaos. If I use this effect, I can always dump it back to the deck and then play pre-prep again. Possibly get them again if I need to. If I don't draw one and I get pre-prep, it automatically puts it in my hand. If I have my combo starters plus this, it immediately gets me another combo piece and I can just go silly. Secrets of Dark Magic. Yes, this is my fusion card, but that is not the only fusion card I'm running because I'm also running Magicianalized Fusion. Send those spellcasters to the graveyard and you can bring out any form of spellcaster. It's flexible in the sense that it can get me what I need should I not have secrets. seeing as how easy it is to search secrets, I don't find that being an immediate necessity, but for a quintet, yes, absolutely. I am running 1 Magician's Salvation. This card literally lets you set Eternal Soul directly from your deck. Off of 1 card. No searches, no nothing. You get this 1 card, that's an Eternal Soul directly to your side of the field. It is extremely useful. It also lets you recycle your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girls in a way to where you will more than likely have them on the field consistently. Seeing as how it does mention Dark Magician in the name, it can be searched with nearly every single search piece you have for your Dark Magicians. I am running Bond Between Teacher and Student as one of my tech cards. Another tech card I'm using, Dark Burning Magic and Dark Magic Attack. Both of these two can be searched with Bond Between Teacher and Student. As an added effect, Dark Magic Attack can be searched with Eternal Soul. So if my opponent has any pesky spells or traps in the way, negating my monster's effects or holding them on the field, I can easily get rid of them without too much problem. One more tech card I'm running, Piercing the Darkness. This card is was part of the most recent release of what was that, Battle of Chaos? I believe it was in the release of Battle of Chaos. This is a very nifty card. People sleep on it only because it doesn't mention Dark Magician in its name. But it does not only work for normal, non-token normal monsters, but it also has an added effect for Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz monsters. And in this deck I am running Fusion and Xyz. The main premise behind it is if you summon, let's say Dark Magician in our case, if we summon a Dark Magician, that's an automatic draw just for summoning him, and that's once per turn. The other added effect is it has the same effect almost as Skyscraper, but just a little bit, I wouldn't say Skyscraper. I'd say it has an added effect of Honest Neos. It lets you gain the attack of the monster that it is attacking. So no matter what monster it battles, it will always be stronger than that monster. Unfortunately, it is only the monster that you are currently attacking, and you can only do it until the end of the phase. And once you use it, that monster's attack will remain just for the one monster that attacked. If you switch to another monster, you will not gain that attack. And to finish out my spells, I'm running 1 Call by the Grave. Seeing as how this is a Halloween themed duel, it is only nice to have something deadly or dead or grave related. Alright, that's it for the spells. Moving on to the traps. 2 Eternal Souls. Useful to have 2 Eternal Souls. Why? If you run 1 and it gets banished, then what are you going to do? Right? You may think it's bricky. It is not bricky. With Illusion of Chaos, you can always put it back into your deck if you do draw 2. Don't feel like you have to necessarily use it just because you have 2 in your hand. I'm running 1 Skill Drain because I'm a bit of a, what is it? Well, I can't think of the word right now, but although I did say it's good to play hand traps so that you can keep playing and don't lock your opponent completely out of the duel, Skill Drain, is going to lock your opponent out of the duel. If they can't activate monster effects, they're pretty much dead in the water. Although it's good to stop your opponent from stopping you from playing, it's also good to, make sure they can't play either. Yeah, I messed that up. I don't care. And to finish it off, I'm running 2 Championless Vigilance. Champion's Vigilance is a nice card. It's another tech card like Piercing the Darkness. This card only takes a level 7 normal monster. What is Dark Magician? A level 7 normal monster. When your opponent activates a spell or a trap or summons a monster, it's basically a solemn with no cost to your life points. All you have to do is control a Dark Magician. And in this deck with 2 Eternal Souls, what are we going to be controlling 90% of the time? You guessed it, Dark Magician. You guessed it, Dark Magician. So, Championless Vigilance. Be sure to try to work this card into any variant of Dark Magician deck. It is extremely powerful. Do not sleep on this card. Moving on to our extra deck. Starting things off, I am running 1 Imbuke the World Chalice Dragon. This card is very nice. It is almost the same as Relinquish Anemia, except in the fact that it doesn't take control of your opponent's monster, but it does completely destroy it by effect, not by attacking. So if there's a problematic monster, it is immediately destroyed if this card does target it for battle. Alright. We're running one Link Spider just to dump our Dark Magicians off to the grave so that we can in turn activate Eternal Soul during our opponent's turn and possibly get off that one banish or that one draw that we need for Piercing the Darkness. One Secure Gardener, only so we don't leave our Link Spider on the field. You don't want to leave a 1,000 monster on the field by itself. Secure Gardener is a 1,000 monster as well, but it has a nice effect. If it is destroyed, it does protect itself from any battle damage that it would take. On its initial summon, it can protect you from effect damage. So do not forget that first effect. That is extremely useful in some cases. Brigade Borg Blocker. This card is good because your field spell, Magician's Salvation, and your continuous spell, Dark Magic Circle, can be placed back into your hand from your graveyard just off this monster's summon. Although you will have to discard one card. Wee Witch's Apprentice. This card is good. All of my monsters are dark, so they will gain a boost. I lied, not all of my monsters are dark. I do run at least 3 to 4 lights, but they will not necessarily be summoned, and if they are, they won't be on the field long enough for the effect to really matter. Moving on to the XZs, I have Naruto, the Morale Leader. Rank 6 spellcaster, only takes 2 level 6. That's where your apprentices come in. Elbon, Illusion Magician. He has a nice effect where you can XYZ him on top of a rank 6. That's where Naruto comes in. He has an added effect where you can detach one material, special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or deck. Last effect, if that normal monster, Dark Magician, were to declare an attack while he's on the field, he can banish. So that'll be a second banish in this deck that already has a very high banish consistency. We're running the number 11 Big Eye to get over those problematic monsters that can't be destroyed by battle or anything. Don't worry about it, just take control of it. Red Eyes Flare Metal, late game. Do not play this early game. This is a late game card when your opponent is at 1,000 life points, maybe 2,000 or less. That gives them 4 moves. If they can't do anything within 4 moves, they are dead. Because every time your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, they must pay 5,000 life points. 500 life points. Yeah. Ooh, what if we had a card that did that? Oh man, overpowered, right? Alright, moving on to the fusions. We're running one Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. He's treated as Dark Magician on the field and the graveyard, and he protects our spells and traps. Having trouble protecting that Eternal Soul? Just summon Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Having trouble getting him out? Use Timaeus, the United Dragon. These cards work well together, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'm running 2 copies of the Dark Magicians. Ooh, I'm running 2 copies of the Dark Magicians. This is a very good card. If a spell or trap is activated during your opponent's turn, if a spell or trap is activated, period, while he's on the field, that's a free draw. That's 3 draws. That's 3 draws off of 3 different tech cards. You have your circle. Actually, that's about 4 draws. You have your Soul Servant. You have your circle. You have this guy, and you have Piercing the Darkness. That's just 4 tech cards, and that's already 4 draws easily. Next, we're gonna be bringing in the boss monster of this. Yeah, he's pretty much the boss monster of this deck. Red Eyes Dragoon. Although you did sacrifice Red Eyes Black Dragon for your 2 pops, it's still a very good card. You still get that initial destruction, and you still get that negate. That negate that Dragoon has is effective because it not only negates, it negates and destroys. Running this tech card, Master of Chaos. This is a very nifty card right here. I can target a light or dark monster in my graveyard and special summon it, which is very nice because I can recycle Timaeus, the United Dragon, and possibly fuse again. It has an added effect. If I don't feel like fusing in that moment, I tribute 1 light and 1 dark monster, and I can literally banish all monsters my opponent controls. Banish, non-targeting. not to the graveyard, no effects, just completely gone. This card is very useful. Do not sleep on it. Rounding out the extra deck, we have Quintet. Quintet is the quintessential stun muffin of this deck. 45, the highest attack that we have outside of Dragoon boosting himself up. When this card is summoned using 5 different spellcasters, this card literally wipes the field. Wipes the field. Well, wipes my opponent's field. Non-targeting destruction. It's also good because it cannot be kaiju. And it cannot be used as fusion material. So that means no super polys. Super polys, kaijus, nothing can touch this guy. Also, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So basically, your opponent's going to have to try to beat this guy over. But with all these tech cards we're running, beating it over is easier said than done. Alright, that is the Dark Magician deck profile for this Halloween themed duel. I hope you guys make sure you like, I hope you guys like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile as well. As you can see, we are not very good at public speaking. We're just kind of improvising at this point. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. And let's go Dark Magicians. We're going to win this one. And make sure you keep an eye out for our vampire duel. Yes, that will be coming out shortly.
Clarification, there will be no vampire deck in the duel. It's just what we're calling the rules we've set up for this duel.
It's quite ironic if you ask me. But thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.